spot.
All right, guys, welcome back to Paradyme Podcast. We actually have two guys with us today that do somewhat of the same thing, but we're going to focus on one area of their lives that they've kind of like built around a community, a sense of like local, I guess, longevity to continue to establish something that's like been thriving in Fresno for a while, but now there feels like a lot of cohesion behind it. But before we get into it, like, subscribe, follow all of us. You'll get their socials, but follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Everything's going to be linked down in the description below. Their links are going to be down below too, so just make sure you guys follow us and keep up to date. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. We're going to focus on no breaks and no fakes. Jeremy here. Jeremy, quite on. You guys can introduce yourselves in a second, but he does his own coffee shop thing, but he's also a heavy enthusiast in bikes, the bike community, repairs bikes, sells them, buys them. His garage is almost like a warehouse at this point.
Sure is.
And Alex here is I'm fairly new. We just met each other recently. So I would definitely like to get to know you a lot more in this podcast, and how everything was established and how you guys kind of established your guys' connection, who you guys knew beforehand, and maybe like your guys' relationship was just based on YouTube. Without further ado, you can guys start with Alex. Like, what is No Breaks, No Fakes? Who are you? How'd you come to Fresno? How'd you establish this?
Name's Alexander. Honestly, No Breaks, No Fakes. This all established through me taking a trip to San Francisco. Throughout like Patrick Fixie King, Jake Lanich, and all those guys that would host the Tuesday and Thursday rides, I would participate in those rides. And they were in like so much fun. San Francisco is like the Disneyland of track bikes. And I had to move from San Francisco back to Fresno, and Fresno didn't have any of those activities for bikes. And it was kind of sad for a little bit.
What year was this?
This was like 3 years ago.
Oh, so it's fairly recent. It wasn't like 10 years ago.
No, not quite. But yeah, like something like local in town, just something with the homies.
Yeah.
A set day for all of us to ride. And I just took over like what they would do in San Francisco, tried to mash what they did and try to bring it here in Fresno.
Yeah. Sweet. How'd you get to Fresno? Have you lived here your whole life?
I lived here my whole life.
Okay, so you're like a Central Valley native. Yeah, I didn't live here my whole life, but I grew up with Jeremy and his cousin like when I first moved here. So like that's how I got to know Jeremy.
Jeremy's dope.
Like, camping and stuff. But how'd you get involved, Jeremy? Like how'd you get involved into No Breaks, No Fakes? Because I know you're a super.
Yeah.
When you get out there, you're really just talking to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you meet Alex?
Yeah. Been in Fresno for my whole life, born and raised, and got into biking 2017, mainly mountain biking, and I wasn't too social with it. I actually used it as my like seclusion time. I like to get away and just have my peace, and that was really cool. But not too long ago, I moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, which was like a mountain biking town. Oh, big old black sheep. Yeah. That's a good shot.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
Yeah.
Yo, you're slow.
But I did get the opportunity to live in a bike community for about a year, and it was pretty dope. I lived I lived about 3 miles away from a mountain bike course, a mountain bike track. All the amenities in the town were bike focused, the bars, the coffee shops. There was a coffee shop in the middle of picture Woodward Park, a coffee shop for cyclists. You can only get there if you biked or walked the trail. So I fell in love with it. I was really fortunate. I got to spend that whole year out there and have as much fun as I did, but my heart was wanting Fresno at the end of the day, and wishing that Fresno had more opportunities, group rides included. And so I kind of made it my goal when I moved back out here to be more engaged with the cycling community. I started my pop-up coffee shop for cyclists, Sad Tire. That started about this year. So it took a year of planning, and spiraling in my mind, like if it was, what was the best move to make or what I wanted to do, and I'm finally off the ground. And I think me and Alex met about last December or last November or something like that.
Oh, yeah, around that
Yeah, yeah. Just through mutual friends. One of my friends came to town, and we both hung out together, and then from there just started hitting each other up like, we gotta ride, dude. We gotta ride. Let's go for a ride.
Eventually,
Yeah, yeah. And we've been riding since. It's my boy.
It's always cool to hear like how people meet. Because Fresno, people always say Fresno's so small, but I don't know. I think Fresno is so large, dude. Like, you'll meet people, and yeah, you'll see them often, but depending on like what type of events or things you like to do, like the gym, like obviously you're gonna see the same.
I almost almost smacked. Yeah, that thing's gone, bro. I felt the wind.
You'll definitely see a lot of the same people, but I think Fresno's growing in population, and like you said, Jared, like
It is.
the vast things that there are to do here, like biking. Jay introduced me to mountain climbing. Like a lot of these things I was never aware of until like I started hanging out more with like you, Jay. Like you kind of like just get to experience different aspects of life. But with No Breaks, No Fakes, when people kind of are introduced to biking, do you guys regularly meet people that are like fairly new to biking, or are you kind of like running into people that are more like established in their own world of biking and they kind of just incorporate themselves with you guys? Like
Honestly, like it would happen with just casually riding. I'll see someone with the identical bike, and I'll just ride up to them, or I'll try and catch up to them. Usually I'm racing up to them because they're riding really fast.
okay.
And I'll just have a short conversation, and I'll add them to a group chat. And this group chat started with like 5 people, and then group chat just exploded. Each and every person I seen, I just kept adding them to the group chat. And then the group chat started getting bigger and bigger, and then we all rode on different days. And it was never like a set day for us to like, a set day for us to ride. And just out of nowhere, just like, you know what? Today's that day.
You guys stuck with, is it Tuesday, right?
Yeah, Tuesdays.
For most people come with their schedule.
I would tell it doesn't fit most people's schedule. Usually Saturdays and Sundays, the weekends, and people plan to have the weekends off. But for the people that have to work on the weekends, like myself, so I have to try and make an alternative. So I think Tuesday's a pretty good day. And if anyone wants to like call off or plan to have that day off, Tuesday's not a pretty crazy day to
Personally,
call off.
I think it works a little better than the weekends because I've always got something new coming up on the weekends. You got weddings, you got birthday parties. Tuesday is cool because you can schedule it almost every week. I think I've only missed like 3 so far out of like 4 months.
The middle of the week is like usually the best time to do things that like, you can consistently do over time, because it's like you're not off tomorrow. Like but it's the middle of the week, so you can almost miss work, but like
It's a slow day,
Yeah, for sure. So that's why, because the Tuesday thing, like I was like, why Tuesday? Why not like Friday or like some more people can.
It had to be a T, and like roll off the tongue. Track bike Tuesdays.
T for track bike.
With incorporating like community bikes and because I'm a novice when it comes to all of this stuff. Like I depend on Jeremy for a lot of my information when it comes to like bikes. I'm like, bro, can I just ride with you guys? Can I get a bike?
That's what dude you go to.
Yeah. And so that's like, I'm blessed to have a friend like Jeremy, because he's like introduced me to so much stuff, like how to get better at like say camping. Like there's little things and tricks that you like pick up on the more you camp, and it's like if you don't do that with somebody, you kind of just pick up on your own. But him and his family, like David and stuff, showed me a lot. I grew up skating with David, but outside of like the technicalities of biking, like what really like establishes or made the established no bikes, no breaks, no fakes to kind of like, I don't know if you feel like you guys are off the ground, or if there's like a goal or some sort of vision that you guys are aiming for, or is it just like like bringing people together to like show them like, hey, like we love riding bikes, we're very technical, and like building them, breaking them down, selling them. Fresno doesn't have this here, and we're going to be the leaders. Obviously, we mentioned a little bit, like it's existed before, it had to, but it hasn't been documented. It hasn't been tracked and analyzed and looked back. They're like, oh, how quickly here, and it might not be revenue based, but it could be like, how many hits do we have out today? right?
Yeah.
How many people are out today? How many compared to last week? Are we kind of slowing down? Are people feeling like it's not really doing much? Should we change our route? So with just the community-based factor, like, do you guys have a vision, or do you guys have like sit down and like discuss amongst like the people that have been first starting and kind of establish some sort of vision or goal?
I definitely do. Like I really want to see more people on bikes. I want to see more bike lanes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more safety, more bike infrastructure for bikers, for the people that aren't able to drive, or the people that just feel comfortable riding their bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just having that safety for bikers and having more bikers on the road would definitely like increase more bike lanes. I've already seen Tower District flooded with security bike lanes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because they've seen a lot more bikers in that area. And if we were to bike anywhere else, I'm pretty sure more people would see, okay, look, Fresno has a large group of bikers that we have to watch out for. So we're going to have to watch our driving, especially with that as well. The drivers, not saying that there's bad drivers, but they're just not bike aware.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a couple people get hurt, and, you know, like, the longevity of it is just to make sure that people notice that there are bikers on the road and to just be more cautious. And I definitely want to see more races in the future as well, more activities. And I don't necessarily
Community events.
community events. And I necessarily don't want to be the only one. I want to see more people do this. Do this. I want to wake up one day and see, oh dang, there's this going on, there's that going on, there's that going on.
And it's almost like back-to-back events.
There's so much stuff that's going on that's bike related, and I would just love to see that.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, you know, there's stuff going on all the time. LA, there's stuff going on all the time. And, you know, Fresno's going to soon be like that. We just need a bike more.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we're slowly seeing that with like everybody moving here and slowly getting out of the bigger cities, or either coming here or getting out of California. But I think our population has had been growing 100,000 in the last year, but it feels like it's gotten a lot bigger, a lot faster. And then all the buildings and structure, the infrastructure of streets, and like you said, downtown, the bike lanes. Like when we first moved downtown, me and David, none of the bike lanes existed, and that was only within like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's bike lanes like painted, filled, everything to where you cannot miss them. And they even removed lanes too. They removed lanes to add bike lanes. You gonna say something to me?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think Fresno's at a really good point right now where the ground is fertile for us to just take it into like the next step of being like a biking town and a fun town in general. Moving across the country, I got to see a couple towns along the way. You know, I'm not the most traveled, but just seeing the rest of the United States. Colorado Springs, for instance, it was a fun town. You know, you could tell like, oh, this is like almost a mountain town, but still like urbanized.
Is that where you and
Yeah.
John stopped?
No, John came over to my hometown, which was also or Lexi's hometown, which is also a fun town, right? But you get here to Fresno, and well, this is my first thought. Like this, why was I so excited when I saw Colorado for the first time, being that close to the mountains? Like, this is honestly a better location because we're not landlocked. We still have the beach. We still have all these other towns to hit. They just went up north and did a bike ride with the other community out there in the Bay Area. So I was actually happier coming back to Fresno than I was leaving, seeing how good we have it. One, if you want to get into cycling, this is like the flattest town in the state. I swear to God. You know, it's
So
crazy.
flat.
Yeah, LA and San Francisco, they're dope for riding bikes. It's a great community, but you're also going to be climbing a lot more. And it's harder to get into financially. Like, this is a pretty good place to get into biking, especially, so, yeah, that's my little shtick.
Yeah, and that's interesting because me as like someone that doesn't bike and is not involved at all into it, really just interested in what you guys are doing with like the community and incorporating different aspects of your life, like the coffee stand and into the biking thing. Is like I would have never known that like Fresno's pretty flat compared to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Obviously,
So flat.
But boy, it's a fucking rolling hill. But when you guys think of things from the past. Like I think we've talked about it a little bit, like documenting things and how to incorporate like getting your name out there. Because this doesn't feel like no breaks, no fakes doesn't feel like. First off, where did that name come from?
Dude,
When I first read it, I was like, no breaks. Obviously, that just means,
I'm
like,
so glad you asked that question.
no
My
pussy
God,
out,
I
and
am
no fakes
so
means, like just be real.
I am
Don't come and be disrespectful.
so no breaks, no fakes. Before I even went to San Francisco, this is when I first started riding bikes, and I started adding people to the group chat. And one of the homies, she just changed the name to No Breaks, No Fakes, and it was one word. And like, honestly, like it made sense for what we were doing, and it made sense for the types of bikes that we were and for the group that we were. So we stuck with it ever since.
You
And
just lived in San Francisco, or did you just go out there frequently?
so my idea was to actually live in San Francisco, but I ended up moving back to Fresno.
Yeah.
But when I moved to San Francisco, that's when I found the group No Breaks, and I was like, oh snap, like this is an actual like thing. I had no idea. So like you know, like No Breaks, that's where it's from.
Okay.
That's the actual thing. That is the dopest. If you like track bikes, you have to look at Jake Lanich and Patrick Fixie King. They have really cool bike infrastructure, like really nice stuff.
And is it a business or it's just
So they're just people, they're just guys, and they just
the no breaks thing?
No Breaks. That's Jake. He hosts Tuesday get-togethers, and they do freestyle, FGFS. Super dope people, really dope group. And then you also have the the Thursday group ride, which is, I believe, Patrick's ride. And those are just rides all across the town, and that's incredibly fun. Like you just ride up and down the hills and watch out for the train tracks and people and cars. It's a Disneyland for a brakeless bike.
Yo, sounds crazy.
It's fun.
Yeah. If I can give a little more perspective, because I'm kind of like a middle ground between like someone who doesn't cycle and someone who does fixed gear, like Alex. Like I've never been out there to SF, but I've like seen the videos on Instagram and shit, and they're dope. Like they're really dope. Like, yeah, some shit I couldn't do. You know, obviously, hit a wheelie in the middle of traffic with like a bus driving past me. I can mountain bike, but I can't do that. But I love it, and I hope one day I get comfortable enough to go on a ride like that. It's just
like this.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
they're straight up swerving out there.
I've seen videos of like that new bike that's really like took altitude with like the younger crowd, that bigger like Willie.
Oh, the SEs?
Yeah.
Oh, the SE bikes, the
I
BMXs?
see a lot of people on like the east side, like Philly and like New York. That seems like that's coming from there.
Yeah.
I see people here incorporating.
Oh, yeah, that's big
Yeah.
here, too.
Yeah.
It's really big. It's honestly bigger than both
He's
of
the-
ours or
yeah, he's the-
anything
he's the
right
biggest,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't know.
We actually did a collaboration ride with them, and we had around like nearly 50 people on this ride, and we were just riding all throughout downtown. It was crazy. They are a really cool group of people.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Just doing wheelies. And
Yeah, no, some of that stuff is like super gnarly. Like I'll see some of the videos where like yours is like where they'll be willing, but they'll press a car and then last second.
oh no, they won't do that here. They won't do that.
I'm
here.
like, whoa, no,
No,
that's
no.
crazy. Like,
they're actually incredibly safe, and they don't do that with moving cars. And usually like the younger crowd, like they're really responsible.
okay.
They're real responsible, especially when they're riding.
Well, yeah. Especially when establishing something new. Like I would.
But in other places, yeah, it's different.
It's probably like well established. With like getting closer to the other communities, or maybe they're not a community, but it's just more of like people that do it. Is like you guys said, what are those bikes called? SEs.
SEs, yeah.
SEs. Is there other like bike communities like Jeremy Lean's, where he started the mountain biking? You're doing is like this fixed gear.
Yeah.
What other?
There's
Yes, the hump day group ride.
one for every different type of bike, man. Yeah.
So
The
what other style of biking? It's like
So we got the road bike group, which is the hump day group ride. Just about anyone could join if you have a road bike and if you could keep up with 20 miles per hour, like passive. These guys are fast, and we ride up over by Friant, and we'll do some trails by Woodward and Fryan, and these guys are fast. And I don't have a road bike yet, but I'm doing it on the track bike, and I'm telling you, they're no joke. They're fast. So that's like the other ride that I know of that I participate in almost every Wednesday.
Is that the goal to essentially go like as fast as possible, as consistently as possible?
I definitely want to race. Yeah, I want to be fast.
Okay.
I want to be incredibly fast.
I definitely followed like some of the races and stuff. Like I don't know what's going on, but like the big international ones and stuff where they like hit a bunch of like islands, or they'll like even the triathlon.
Oh yeah, like the alley cats.
Yeah, where like they ride a bike and they jump in the water and then
Oh, the triathlon.
Yeah.
but I've also watched like just the cyclists like fucking go for 24, 25 miles at like 20 miles an hour like the whole time. Like what the fuck is this? This is crazy as hell. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't even push myself that hard like for a mile.
Yeah. Well,
You think you can, but like with good training and
Oh, for sure.
like you can do it. You're physically capable of doing
Yeah.
it.
Road riding, the actual goal, like the most important goal for it is to conserve energy, strangely. They're flying, but there's someone at the front of the peloton giving it the beans, and everyone else is drafting off of them, trying to use as little power as possible and keep the group steady and even. And it's a lot of fun. I haven't gone on this ride, but I've done a couple rides that were like road rides, 70-mile rides, and just being absolutely gassed and just counting on someone to pull you for like another 10 minutes so you can rest is just it's so important because sometimes you're absolutely done.
Are those are the races kind of rolling out already in Fresno? Like are they pretty big?
Um,
Are there any races yet?
So there were two. We had two races back then. There were races. There were like tons of races back in 2015, 2012, and there hasn't been a race for about like 7-8 years.
Organized?
Yes, it was all
Track
organized.
or road?
Just alley cats around here in Fresno.
Oh, okay.
And those were races that I know of. But as of recently, there's been two, and there's going to be one coming up, probably in like a month or two.
Okay.
But those are like
Really sick to sit out there and watch, or like kind of pick a spot and like just see everybody at that.
it's fun. It's fun. It's really fun. You see a lot of bikes.
So much potential. Like I think we talk about this so much. Like Fresno has like it's artists, DJs, music, creatives, like any aspect that you look at Fresno, like it's like it exists here, but there's not a large platform for it to where it can stand alone and then also grow because the foundation of Fresno is like, not as solid. And I always tell people that like when we have these conversations, I always just say like it's a bit harder because we're one next to all these huge cities where we're competing against like people that are the top of the top and they're 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Compared to, and also we're living in a city where it's a lot of agriculture and medical, where like there's not enough funding behind like DJs and music and A&R development and building communities and running organizations and events and stuff.
It's kind of sad. I've had a lot of friends leave because they're like, I want to get more into a certain subject, and so they just move on down to LA or move up to the Bay Area. It's like, all right, I'll still be here.
At what point do we like, if we are gonna stay in Fresno and like really try and establish something, at what point are we gonna be like, you know what, I think this is like our stopping point and we try and figure this out? And it might not be a forever thing, but if everybody's route is like, I'm gonna build my foundation and take off to LA and take off to San Francisco, it's forever gonna be that perpetual cycle where nothing really gets established here creatively, unless some like huge money comes into here, and I think we'll see that with like the high speed rail and stuff.
I got some plans for like a funny little shirt. Well, actually, that is a big plan of my Sad Tire coffee cart brand, is to also make a lot of shirts that kind of have like satirical little sayings on them, you know. Dad jokes, or you know, also just advocating for cyclist safety. But there was this one that came to me the other day, and I was thinking like a Smokey the Bear shirt, all right, kind of like Smokey the Bear, and he's pointing at you, and he's like, only you can make Fresno fun. You know?
I like
hopefully someone doesn't steal it, but yeah, I think that's true as fuck.
It is.
Yeah.
People always say, oh, there's nothing to do in Fresno. I was like,
Make something.
Only you, bro.
Make something fun.
Get out there, be friendly. Be friendly.
2 hours away from every big city.
Being friendly is so important. Like just smiling at people, getting outside of your social circle. Yeah, don't don't what do you call it when you make little groups of people?
Seclude.
Yeah, don't seclude yourself and make little cliques. Get out there, say hi to everyone, be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely struggled with that, like out of high school, and so I pushed myself with not only Paradyme but like entrepreneurship, like sales, and I just tried to find the areas that I needed improvement. And like when we talked about off the podcast, like philosophy and understanding purpose and mission, I think that is tagged along with that. Like if you're running around Fresno saying, "Well, there's nothing to do with Fresno," well, that's a huge perspective of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The city is huge. It's not like some little like small town gas station stop and go.
Yeah.
It's in 500 plus thousand population growth. Like,
Yeah.
so with mission and purpose being like a lot of some people might not even know what theirs is. What would you guys consider like independently? It could be like satire, you want to speak on that, or just yours personally. And then no breaks, no fakes, or just yours personally. It's like that's because I know bikes is like a big component that you want to bring to Fresno, but outsider bringing people together with bicycling, cycling, and shock. And what would you say another purpose or another reason why you get up there from YA?
It's honestly like people have this thing with me to where I get energy off of good energy. And when people are able to wake up, have the energy to get ready to go outside and socialize, be nice to other people, like that's what I like. And I like seeing that, I like feeling that, and that's like the main purpose. I do these group rides and all I see are smiles. Whatever type of problem that you had outside of biking, the moment you're on a bike, it's like we're only talking about bike stuff. We only like bike stuff. And it's all related to bike stuff. And only thing that bikes have ever done was be good to us, like it's just only good vibes. So like, that's like the main thing, is just seeing the smiles on people's faces the moment they hop on a bike. And
there's something connected to like childhood
when
you get on a bike for sure.
Dude, it's just a different feeling. All those problems that you have, you get exhausted, you get tired, and your only problem is I'm huffing and puffing. Like I'm tired, I'm sweating, and it just gets your mind off all the negative stuff.
Yeah, so that's spot on. Yeah, that's a good keep inside both, because I definitely found myself in there a lot, like dealing with life and like figuring out like how to get out of like life's bullshit. And I've definitely experienced that what you're talking about, like just jumping on a bike or just going to the gym or just going to the mountain climbing. Okay, like there's things that kind of just instantly get you out of your head. Like as soon as you start doing them, it's almost like instantaneous. It's like, damn, why was I putting on like that a second ago? And like, not to neglect it, not like to ignore what you're going through, but it's just like to be aware of like your mind can change in a matter of seconds.
It also gives you time to think and lets you alter your perspective. Like it gives you time to really think about your next decision. So I really like that as well.
Yeah. What about you, Jeremy? What do you think is crucial for people to find out about you or what you're trying to accomplish, or what your mission and purpose is, or drives you to do it a little longer?
Man, outside of just ride bikes, I guess my other message, if I had one, would be get outdoors. It's fucking, I don't know. I'm pretty much a meme when it comes to my friends, and like. I think before this, I was really into camping. Well, I was still mountain biking, but my friends would just call me Mr. Patagonia, I don't know, something. It's like, that's not very Patagonia of you, bro. Like, just because I was just always hiking. I would, only 45 minutes away from here, over by Bass Lake or around here. But yeah, I don't.
One thing that always I remember sure like this. I finally heard it from you, and then everybody started saying it, or the destination is or the journey is not the destination.
Yeah.
That's literally like anytime I hear anybody say that, I instantly think of
no,
that was the first person I heard.
That's true.
It's not about like where you're going or like how you feel today and what's gonna get you through the day. It's like, what's your process in that time frame not about the destination. Like, what are you gonna do to work to the destination? What are you gonna do in that time to figure it out?
That's why I hate going on long backpacking journeys. Over anything over like 10 miles a day backpacking. It's not really worth it to me because like now I'm just like ruining the journey by like stressing about having to walk too far. It's like I'm just trying to enjoy my time right now, you know. But I mean, there's ways to go about it that you can still have fun. But yeah,
Doing Whitney, when we did Mount Whitney, that really like was an eye opener.
yeah.
5 days out there, like at least for me, started to break me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was things that were involved, like me, David, and John went through like a fucking hailstorm, and we thought we were literally gonna die. Like me and John jumped in the tent when we like finally set up our tent. It was still pouring rain,
Shit.
and we put the jet oil on in the tent. That's how like we were like you turn that shit on like.
You guys didn't cuddle?
Dude, we put all our clothes on, but we were hella close. But it was just like we were so cold that like nothing at this point was gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
And then Dave was like, "Hey, the sun's out," and we were like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
That was a gnarly chirp, but
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
But you guys did make it to your destination. What do you if you could do it again? Do you think it was worth it? Like, what? How many days again? You said 5.
Well, so we planned for 5. We stay out there 4 nights.
10 miles each day, or how
10
many?
miles, so 40 miles total.
But it's also steep as shit out there, huh?
Yeah,
So it's like
you're walking 12 miles up, 12 miles down, and then you're doing like weird, just incline, decline, incline.
Yeah.
And then once you get to the very back of the Mount Whitney, it's a straight made to out. But then once you get to coming down, it's a straight decline. Like I'm talking about a decline, this kind of decline.
Mhm.
You can see the bottom from like just walking sideways, zigzags. But that's definitely like I would not change anything. I remember John when we were on that trip. He was behind me and David, and it was hailing, it was pouring, it was thundering, and Jay and Nick were on the walkie-talkie. They were like, "Hey, you guys all right?" And you could see the storm, like we're sitting here, you could see the storm like just hail like falling on us, and they couldn't see us. But I remember John just saying like, "You boys are tough as shit." And I was like, "Dude, that feels good to know that like you're with like 2 other guys that are like, bro, I'm in this shit with you."
Yeah.
Like I'm just as miserable. Like, this
Yeah.
shit sucks. But we'll wrap it up there. Like I don't want to hold you guys too long and prepare for your guys' ride today. But before we go, if you guys want to drop your socials, anything that's upcoming that you guys might want people to know about, like this month. I know Courtney Best right on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Today is Tuesday, so they're gonna head out for their bike ride at 7. So if anybody is watching this, it's one plug right there. And you guys, all your guys' socials and stuff will be in the description. But anything else you guys want to kind of mention before it's out?
If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's no breaks, no fakes. It's not the break like you're like you're taking a break. It's really like a car break. So it's no breaks, no fakes. We host Tuesday night rides at Tower Theater. Starts at 6:30 to 7 o'clock. Bring your lights, bring a helmet, and bring good vibes. It's really fun. It's really fast, and I want to see more people.
Shit.
Yeah, that's some good thing. Sun's out longer too,
Mhm.
so you guys get to ride a little bit longer.
I gotta charge my lights.
It was like 5 o'clock.
Oh, dude, it used to be dark and cold. It was horrible. But like that's like really early on when like rain or shine, we were still gonna show up on a Tuesday.
That's cool. That's really sick. What about you, Jeremy? Anything with satire? Any bike stuff coming up? Any events?
There is an event at Tower Yoga called the Bicycle Extravaganza coming up. I think it's May 18th. And we'll correct that if I was wrong. But there's a lot of people in on this one. I'm making coffee there. That's my responsibility. Tower Yoga is going to be doing some classes, and Fresno Bike Station will be there. And that is a DIY bike clinic where you come out with your bike that's giving you a little bit of problems, and they teach you how to fix it right there and then. So it's pretty dope experience.
Is it by Tower Yoga?
Yeah, Tower Yoga. So right in the back of Goldstein's, there's that patio, and it's gonna be before Goldstein's opens, I think. Maybe they might open early. We'll see. I do know they're making a beer that's bicycle themed, so that'll be cool to grab that from Goldstein's. And there's one last component of it that is a historical bike ride, which is pretty cool because Fresno has a lot of historical buildings and places in general, I guess. So it's a pretty small community ride that goes by some Fresno landmarks, historical landmarks. So that's May 18th. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what I
like
got.
some good. So if you guys see those, you guys already be every Tuesday. That's our you can take. So I thank you guys. Appreciate it. I can't wait for the future to see what happens with all of this stuff. I mean, there's so much potential out there. Like the interviews we've gotten so far, just to see, like, for instance, like Floyd, he's a media agency owner, to see how far he's come in Fresno alone with no degree, and he runs one agency, operates, like, he works with, like, Fresno Airport for their Make Market campaigns and stuff, and it's just, like, there's people with true dreams and real, like, motion. Like, I think if you catch things early, it's really cool to see things play out over time. That's always fascinated me, like documenting things, being in the fucking midst of everything and looking back about it. Wow.
Yeah.
That is an actual story. But appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, follow. These will be coming out more often, more different contents soon. We do have our book clubs. I think our next book is Fahrenheit 451, so be on the lookout for that. Other than that, appreciate you guys. Let's get to it.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah.
I was dope.
I hella gotta charge my lights.